Last time on Shadow Peace, the battle on Pulchra Island ended. While the fight results were perfectly balanced, the actual outcome of this exchange was the victory of the Fleet of Death, and thus the ownership of Pulchra Island has transferred as well. All three fighters, Hyrdine, Cavendish and Tyr, now need some time to recover, time they actually don't have at the moment, as the war against the Blackbeard Pirates is quickly approaching. At the same time, Olympus on the Thriller Bark called Maria to the strategy room to reveal massive news he just deciphered: the location of Laugh-Tale, and thus also the One Piece. Every member of the Strawhat Pirates is taken by surprise when they hear the news, and laughter spread throughout the island ship. Only Sanji was not allowed in the strategy room. It doesn't matter that he is the disciple of the Dark Messiah. In the end, he is still a part of another rival pirate crew. A war against a member of the Four Emperors is certainly something that will shake the world. However, compared to Maria only being a single step away from finding the One Piece, it does somehow feel like a side quest. Before this side quest can begin, a bit more preparation is needed. That includes sending Olympus, Columbus and the entire Yonta Maria Grand Fleet to Elbaf. There they can safely spend the remaining time until the war starts. For Maria, the last couple of days have been very relaxed. Meanwhile, the affiliates of his crew suffered a lot. Now, silence spreads throughout the Thriller Bark again. Even without all the Yonta Maria fleet members, the ship of the Shadow Emperor has become much more lively. Well, if you can call thousands of zombies lively. With them as simple workers, the core crew members can focus on more important things. Even Sanji, who insists on cooking the food, uses the chef zombies as assistants. Life truly has become much more convenient. Normal pirate crews need to follow a log post to go from island to island, but the crew of the Goddess of the Death can just brute force its way through the dangerous new world. However, right now, they are actually following something, and are not just sailing blindly. A collection of Weaver cards has been put in the strategy room, each pointing in a different direction, but one shows signs of being very close. These are the Weaver cards of all the sins and the other key figures of the Fleet of Death. Just yesterday did they part ways with the Sin of Greed, and now they are already near another ally. It's like a convenient twist of fate. It will still take another day to reach that person's island, and thinking about who it is makes it easy for Maria to recognize that the entire fleet only exists because of Absalom. Obviously they follow Maria as he's the captain of the blonde chimera human, but most of the admiration is directed towards the Dark Messiah, not him. Considering what he was like just 2 years ago, makes his situation very hard to believe. But if somebody has a huge dream, it also massively increases the growth they can experience. Fate is a weird thing, nobody can truly grasp what it wants. Everybody is doing what they want to do the most. Perona and Liv are spending quality sister time together, strengthening their bond with each other and also talking about embarrassing things Maria did in the past. Rook continues defeating close by pirates and marines, only shortly presenting them to Maria for him to cut off their shadows. Bronya is practicing by herself. She herself thinks that she is weak. After all, she struggled to lift a simple rock cube. The piece of information that it is an insanely heavy road poneglyph is something she is not aware of. However, that just ignites her motivation to grow stronger even more. Absalom and Sanji continue being together, practicing to achieve their respective goals. For the child man, that goal still is to perfect a singular basic kick, but his master is also training something very difficult to achieve. His advanced armament haki is already very controlled. His Conqueror's haki only activates at random, so the only thing he can really focus on is his observation haki. Without a real battle, he will most likely continue with only minor improvements, but getting a few inches closer to his own version of advanced observation haki is what he wants at the moment. And last but not least, we have the Shadow Emperor himself, who is reading the newspaper. News about the traitor of humanity, Vegapunk, reconfirming that 3 of the 7 are already dead, and showing the bounties once again. It is hilarious to Maria what has happened to the world. Seeing the world government lose control is the best thing imaginable. But with the world getting uncontrollable, some things escalated very quickly. With some intel from a secret government ally, they figured out that the 4 remaining Vegapunks have moved to the Revolutionary Army's base. And so the revolutionaries were offered a choice: hand over Shaka, Lilith, Addison and the Stella. Then and only then, the 5 Elder Stars themselves will forgive the revolutionaries for everything they have done so far. but if they decline, they will experience a fate worse than death. You can all guess what the Revolutionary Army decided to do. Just as Maria and his fleet are preparing to fight Blackbeard, all world government forces are preparing for an all-out war against the Revolutionary Army. Just below that article, Maria sees an advertisement stating that the ice cream shop in Loketown was declared the best ice cream shop in all of the seas this year once again. Small pieces of joy can still be found in this massive sea of despair, but what side our protagonist will be on can only be seen in the future. And yes, this is the end of today's episode of Shadow Piece. Yes, I know this was a very short episode, but it also marks the end of this arc. I did not want to stretch anything out, so you have to live with a bit less Shadow Piece this week. However, next week we will enter something I have been looking forward to since last year. Even before we left Wano, I started making notes for this upcoming arc, so now you can look forward to that one. I said this in the comments a few weeks ago. In my notes I called this current arc the Redstone arc. However, I want to ask you if you have any better names in your heads. Also, while we are at it, please tell me what you thought about this arc in general. Was it too short? Was it too long? Which parts did not feel that well written? I really am trying to improve my writing, so all the feedback is welcome. To summarize everything very quickly, at first we had Olympus and the Red Poneglyph appearing next to the Thriller Bark, where they then joined the Strawhat Pirates and spending a few days together deciphering the road poneglyphs and figuring out where Laugh Tale is. Also gathering thousands of shadows. The other thing that was happening was the big battle on Pulchra against the Red Hair Pirates. Now Pulchra Island belongs to the Fleet of Death and also obviously the Strawhat Pirates, but that also means that they have somehow declared war against the Yonko crew of Red Hair Shanks. So that might be something that could happen in the future, but I'm gonna be honest with you, I think that war is not going to be part of the main Shadow Piece story. I look forward to hearing all of your opinions and maybe even feedback, but for now that is all from me for today. All that's left to be said is stay happy, stay healthy, and most importantly, stay cultured. Pyro out. Bye!